Challenging, thought-provoking, insightful. This is God in Country, the collision of faith and politics, hosted by nationally known speaker, Reverend Dr. Sean Michael Greener. Not your typical Rev. Dr. Sean is a proud military veteran, former law enforcement officer, and founder of the internationally regarded Executive Protection Team. Through counseling, elite life coaching, and national speaking, this ninja pastor tells it like it is. This series is biblically and politically engaged with the pedal to the metal. With today's edition of God in Country, here is host and author of the acclaimed yet controversial book, Excellence Killed the Church: How Mediocrity is Destroying America, Dr. Sean Michael Greener.
How about now? Can you hear me now? What can you hear now? There we go. I don't know exactly what's going on with it, but it's something's not right. So we will keep fiddle-dee-deeing with it until we figure out what's wrong. Now, how about now? Can you hear me now? In chat, anything? Anything. Okay. How's the sound? Any good or terrible? We shall overcome is what we shall do, because I've got a good show for you today. I'm super excited about it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to throw that piece of crap away, and we're going to take this. This computer is soon to go out the window. I will tell you this. There we go. How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now? There we go. Loud and clear. I can't hear anything, but I don't really need to hear anything as long as you can hear me, because I know what I want to say. Well, sometimes I do. I don't know that all the time I do. So, all right. Well, we've got sound, and that's all that matters is some sound. All right. So you guys know what happened, right? You know what happened yesterday, and I don't think anybody in the known world, I just think it'd be virtually impossible for anybody to not know, I should say, what happened yesterday. And so we're going to talk about that. I'm mad. Of course I'm mad. I'm super angry. I think that it's ridiculous. Super, super ridiculous that it happened. But I think that in many cases we just need to figure out the bottom line to things. We need to bottom line some things. We need to take away some of the fluff. Today is going to be a zero fluff day. Straight up. Zero fluff day. Seriously. Another poor, misguided refugee got a ledectomy. Craig from New York says. Amen. We'll talk more about that today. There's going to be lots to say today. And yes, I'm super mad. I cannot begin to tell you how super unbelievably mad I am right now. So it is It is absolutely inexcusable. And so, anyway, it is what it is. Thank you for joining us. I thank all of you that joined us on Sunday. So far over at Spreaker, we had the best response that we've ever had. And I think that's that's the only really way I can measure it, is how many listeners listen and how many comment. So, anyway. Ugh. Speaking of ugh, super ugh, I have to dedicate this show, I'm compelled to dedicate this show to the mother of one of my very dear friends and colleagues. Really a tremendous talent, an excellent mind, and have been a dear friend for a long time. Friend of the show. She's been on the show. She's been a personal friend for a long time. Colleague in a think tank that I'm in. I'm privileged to be in. I was the diversity hire for the think tank. So, they have to take in people that aren't quite as, super smart as the rest of the people. So, anywho, Lala is an amazing person. Just love her to death. Anybody that knows her loves her. And I just think I don't know. We've been friends a long time. She's been a dear, sweet friend. And her dear, dear mother, Shirley May Zucco Harrover, died May 10th, 1930. Or was born May 10th, 1930, and died October 31st, 2017. Yeah, she died on Halloween. It was a total shock. Not sure. We don't have any of the answers yet on what the deal is, what happened. And the first responders tried desperately to save her life. And, it's just a horrible, horrible thing. I don't know. Really, really terrible thing. And my heart breaks for her and for her family. She's got a dear sister. I may have met other family members, but I remember her sister. And, when her father passed away, really, really neat guy. I was at the funeral and met a lot of her family and friends. And, they're just good people. They're just really, really solid, good, beautiful people. And her mother was that. She was a beautiful, amazing person. Shirley May Zucco Harrover in heaven, holding the hand of her husband now. And so it's tough. And obviously it just happened. And so it's just rough. It's a rough, sad time. And I think that all in all, we live and we die. And it's what we do with the dash. And she did a lot with her dash. May 10th, 1930, dash, October 31st, 2017. She did a lot with her dash. And it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. I'm a huge fan of her mom. Her mom is neat lady. So, Lala, that's obviously her stage name. But everybody knows her now in the music business as Lala. She's really, really hot on the Nashville scene, and she's now going to be internationally known. The big break that the big overnight sensation she was hoping to be, she has worked on for the last 32 years. If you've listened to any country radio at all, you've heard her songs. She's a great, great songwriter and a really tremendous, tremendous performer. And you'll hear more about that, but ultimately, just great people. These are really, really sweet, good people. And so this show is dedicated to Shirley May Zucco Harrover. And we will meet again, because I know of your faith, and I share that faith, and we shall. You have seen the face of Jesus. You've held hands with your husband and embraced him again, and so many that have gone before. God bless you. I know you wouldn't change space with us for any money in the world. So we're saddened at your loss, but we're honored to have known you and loved you. So today, I have to say, I've been mad the whole day, kind of. And I don't know about you, but this has been one of those days. I mean, yesterday, you all know how I do when this stuff happens. It's stupid. They say stuff, the news people, they just, they want to occupy space. They want to occupy space. So what do? Well, what they do is they start talking about something they know nothing about. Absolutely nothing about. They don't know anything about it. They don't know. They don't know what happened. They don't know what's going on. And so they just run off at the mouth. And 90% of the stuff they say, completely untrue. Completely false. They don't even know what they're saying. They really never know what they're saying, truthfully. They don't. They don't know what they're saying. They babble on. Amazing how much that sounds like Babylon. Because the 24-hour news cycle is, you've got to fill the space. You just have no... Like I say about my show, honestly, if it doesn't take 2 hours, I'm fine with that. If it takes only an hour, I'm fine with that. If all of what I have to say is 30 minutes in duration, I'm fine with that. I really am. It's totally okay. Sometimes, I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, I'm mad, as you can tell. I'm mad about this. I'm mad on several levels. Several levels. This is unexcusable. It's inexcusable, I should say. Hold on, let me get I made my tea. I was smart, see? I learn slow. I have a brain injury, so I learn really slow. And really and truly, the last several days have been rough brain days. I mean, really, really rough. Physically and mentally and, all that stuff, putting sentences together and walking and going up and down steps have been a bummer. But all in all, I think that I don't know. It's one of those things. Look, when we sit in this world and we look out. Oh, I started to tell you about my tea. See, I told you, it's a really bad brain day. Brain not working. Brain not working. I made the tea. Remember, I always whine about my tea's too hot. Well, I had to come up with a smart thing here, see? I learned. I made the tea probably 2 hours ago. Let me see, how warm is it? It's perfect. Perfect. It's absolutely perfect. You can't even... It's perfect. It's hot, but it's not burn my mouth hot. And that's important. So, anyhow, why am I mad? Well, first of all, I'm going to talk about Shemp Smith on... I know his real name is Shepard Smith. I'm going to talk about him a little bit. You can tell him. I've met him. I was not impressed in real life, truthfully. No offense to anybody. Not a guy that I have much of an appreciation for. Just telling you that. Being fair. It's just is what it is. You ever meet somebody and you think, man, oh man, oh man. Now, which is not to say he's not intelligent. The guy's super intelligent. It would be super unfair, super unfair, to label this guy as dumb, because he's not dumb. He's a smart guy. He's a super smart guy, and he's articulate. I think sometimes he tries too hard to make something profound. He tries to say things, something's happening. He's the breaking news guy, right? So whenever something breaking, like yesterday, all of a sudden, he breaks in and tries to really. But he's so ultra left. People say, well, why is he there? Well, he's the second highest. Well, now he's the highest paid at Fox News Channel. You know, he is 13.9. His whole package is worth over 14 and a half, I think, of salary. And then you've got on top of that endorsements, and, you know, he gets paid certain amounts over and above, and with certain things. Hey, Steve from Ohio. Wow, good to have you, brother. We miss you. He's working hard there out on the homestead. It's awesome how hard of work you're doing there. Can't wait to see it in person. So, I just, you know, I look at Shepard Smith, and I say to myself, here's a guy who is too impressed with himself, right? And okay, everybody knows that Shepard Smith is gay. Well, I don't give a rat's behind if he's gay. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't care. It really, really seriously doesn't matter to me. You know, it's what he does at that microphone, and that's what matters, and that's what matters to me. I don't care about his sexual preference. I don't want to hear about it. I just don't want to hear about it. It's not of any import to me. And I don't think really any of you that listen, I don't think you care what his sexual proclivities are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I'm sure it doesn't matter to you. Ultimately, it comes down to what kind of jobs you do. And I think that's the way it is in every walk of life. But this guy gets on television and he says stuff that's just patently stupid, and it reveals a terrible, terrible bias on his part. He hates Donald Trump. Now, he's hated Donald Trump for a long time, well before Donald Trump ever ran for president. Some folks want to know what's in my tea. Let's see. It's lemongrass, ginseng, American ginseng, grown in Kentucky. On the hills of Kentucky. It's Kentucky, West Virginia, some parts of North Carolina, and some other places down there. That's a real big deal. And what happens now is, I may actually do a report on it. I was thinking about, I was supposed to take a trip today, or I was supposed to leave. I don't know what number. I think it's November today, right? I think that's part of my brain injuries. I don't have any idea what day or month or any of that stuff. Well, what I'm trying to tell you is at some point this week I was supposed to go down to Georgia. I think it was this weekend I was going down to Georgia, and I had a photo shoot on some day this, I don't know what day. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the names. Anyway, I was supposed to do that, and that's not going to happen now. So, and it kind of works out as a blessing, because if Mrs. Harrover's funeral is this weekend, I would never want to miss that. Anyway, blah, 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 all that stuff. Well, some folks were asking me about November 4th. They asked me what the deal is with Antifa, and because, Antifa and BLM and all those groups, they've gathered together, and New Black Panthers, and they say they're going to do this action, and it's going to be national. It's going to be national. They're going to physically remove President Trump from office. That's what they're going to do. They're going to remove him from office. And so they're telling us this, right? And this is an act of sedition, is what it is. Hold on, this tea is good. I started telling you what was in my tea, and I stopped. I should have started drinking my tea a little earlier. Let's see, I told you lemongrass, I told you ginseng. Oh, that's right, I got on that ginseng. So I was on that trip down there. I was supposed to stop over in North Carolina, but I think I'm going to have to do that next weekend. And on that trip, I was going to go down. There's a place where it's known that this ginseng just grows wildly. And that's the big crop. That's more money than illegal marijuana, which shouldn't be illegal to start with. Talk more about that later. But ginseng is amazing. It's healing properties and all the different things. And so now people are starting to realize, oh, wait a second, that's something good to have in your body. So people grow it, and then people steal it and sell it. That's where we are. That's what's happening. So let's see. I have organic raw honey in there, local. I always want to get local. If you don't want to have allergies, you eat your local honey. That means the honeybees. Although one of these days I'll do a show on bees. What's going on with our bee population? That's a major problem. We got you might think that's a good thing. that we have fewer bees, but no, it's a horrible thing. It may cost us our food supply, literally. So then I've got, let's see here, I've got in there a whole lemon, and I just ground it up and took all the juice and some of the pulp, and so that's all in there. I'm loving it. And I think that's all that's in there, I think. Pretty sure. Good stuff. Real good stuff. So, back to the story at hand, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. Supposed to be on that trip. That's not going to happen probably till next week. The trip to Georgia will have to happen another time. And but there was a lot I wanted to photograph and different things and all that stuff. But we'll keep that on the. We won't even put that on the back burner. That'll be on the side burner, the warming tray. And when we're ready to put it back under high heat, we'll get it going. But today, what really ticked me off. Yesterday, obviously ticked me off. It did. It ticked me off. I mean, and I'm sure it ticked you off. There's no reason why it wouldn't tick you off. People say it's a tragedy. It's not a tragedy. The people say the shooting in Las Vegas was a tragedy. That's not a tragedy. That's not a tragedy. That's a crime that was committed. Tragedy is, they were walking near the edge of the Grand Canyon and part of the canyon fell away. And they fell down and they went to their death. Now they're now buried in Grand Canyon. That's where, well, that'd be a tragedy. You know, you're out sailing the ocean blue and a big storm comes up and it kills you. You know, that's a tragedy. I don't know, I could list 100 things that are tragedies. But a crime, a murder, that is really, well, it's a crime. And terrorism is just, to me, it's the worst possible crime. I think it should have the highest level of punishment. I really do. And a lot of people say, you're so mean. Like, look, I think you litter. And I'm going to tell you something. I have followed people with more Obama, Biden stickers and more, I'm with Hillary, I'm with her, all that stuff. Clinton, Kane stickers, love the earth. Whatever, that other crap they put on the back of their car, I think, to hold them together. I've been behind more of those cars that littered, that I just watched them throw stuff out the window. And I'm not talking a little thing. I'm talking a whole big bag of stuff. It drives me insane. And I think, you're a liar. You want to tell people that you love the earth, but really and truly, when it comes down to it, you don't. And I'll tell you how I know that they're lying about that. Is, when conservatives have a gathering, you don't have to have a cleanup crew. Right? You go down to Alabama and have a parade. Do you have to have a cleanup crew working halfway through the night? All the way through the night, somebody tells me. Yeah, all the way through the night. In New York City. You have to have a cleanup crew, and they haul away tens of thousands of pounds of trash. But you love the planet. That doesn't make any sense to me. Pick up your own stuff. But you go to a place that's typically... See, I told you I was mad. I'm mad about every daggum thing. You go to a place... Alabama, North Carolina, Kennesaw, Georgia... places in Florida. You are there and everybody. Well, now there's places in Florida I hear that littering is terrible. That people just throw it. Nobody has they don't want to pay for garbage service, so they just throw it. Then Florida's not the only place, but that's the place I've seen. I've seen some other places that were kind of like that, but every city I've ever been in, it disgusts me. Every city. Detroit. Everybody knows my least favorite city in the whole country is Detroit. Detroit, Michigan. I can't stand Detroit. It's horrible. The worst litter I've ever seen in my life. A close second is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, I know some great people from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philly Bob, great friend of the show. Great friend personally. He'd never think of throwing litter. But I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry to tell you, Philadelphia's got a serious trash problem. Washington, D.C. Now, you would think the nation's capital, we'd want everybody coming to visit us there in the nation's capital. You would think, somehow or another, we would find a way to not have litter. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows what I'm saying. You guys hear me. I'm not speaking in a foreign language. Even the people that live in other countries that are listening right now, they know. Look, you know, the cleanest place I've ever been in my life, honestly, cleanest place I've ever been is Switzerland. There is no, Switzerland and Austria really are very, very, Austria is very, very clean, but Switzerland, crazy clean. Seriously. Crazy clean. It's just, you know, I love it. It's so clean. And litterers just get on my last nerve. I can't stand a litterer. It's lazy. You're not caring for the environment. You're not caring for what God has blessed us with. And you know, I'll tell you what gets me. Ooh, now here you go. You want to hear it? You said you want the truth. I'll tell you. I'll give you the truth. When I go hunting, when I'm physically able to go hunting, I like generally somebody to be with me, but hey, that's not always possible. And so when I'm physically up to it, and I don't do anything crazy. I mean, it's real simple. And I go to where I hunt. Easy to get to, you know. Anyway, I have cell phone service there, so if I do get into a problem, I can call, 911 or phone a friend or whatever. When I look around and I see litter. Now, most hunters will not think of littering. They won't. They won't think of litter. I wouldn't think of leaving a speck of trash. Honestly, I wouldn't. First of all, what are you doing eating a bunch of crazy smelly stuff when you're trying to hunt deer? If you're hunting deer. I'm talking about hunting deer. Those deer smell you a mile away. And you open up a candy wrapper, or you open up some sort of ham sandwich or something, they smell you. And if you leave your trash there, guess what? They smell the residue. From a mile away, they can smell it. They can smell the difference. It's the truth. Bottom line. Littering makes me so mad. And when I see liberals litter, I think to myself, now you talk all this smack about how you love the planet. That's just a scam. Now that's just a scam and you know it. Don't mess around and lie. Don't mess around and lie. Tired of hearing a bunch of lying. Don't pretend to be something. This thing with this Harvey Weinstein. Well, you never saw so many liars running around, scrambling. Just unbelievable. Yeah, San Francisco is a dirty, dirty place, too. I've been in San Francisco a lot. I've been all over. Portland, one of my favorite shows. Boy, I hope they do another season. Portlandia. They make fun of how they are. It just cracks me up. It's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen in my life, really, and dead on accurate, too. But I'm just saying, you claim to love the planet, but you throw litter. You leave litter. You mess around and make someplace, and I'll tell you what else gets me. People walking their dogs don't pick up after their dog. Oh, I forgot my bag. But Lord forbid they have their bag and they think you're not going to pick up. They'll come and give you a sermon. Nobody's around. They're the one leaving the trash. It makes me mad. Whoever litters, I don't care which side you are, but it really makes me mad when a person on the left does it because they're claiming to love the planet. I love the planet. There's nobody on this planet loves the planet more than me. I'm the planet-loving ninja pastor. I love the planet. It's beautiful. It's a gift from God, and I want it to be nice. I want it to be clean. I say let's not generate more trash than we have to. Why not? Why not? Be smart about it. When I was a kid, we had a burn barrel, and we burn our trash. We barely had any trash to go to we called it the landfill back then, but we barely ever did have trash because it was, you burn it. You burn anything that would burn, you burn. So New York City, we went on. Shepard Smith, he goes on and on and on talking about, we went on. We won. Who won? What in the world do you mean you won? I don't understand what people are talking about. You won. No, you didn't win. There's 8 dead people. There are 8 dead people. One lady, poor lady, lost both legs. My goodness, folks. Is that winning? I don't think that's winning. I think that's setting the bar very well. This is what de Blasio and Governor Cuomo. Governor Cuomo said this today. It's not a direct quote, so don't quote me, I'm quoting him, but this is the gist of what he said. But, I'm sorry to say, but this is the truth. We're not going to be able to stop every single one. We're not going to be able to stop every single truck. Somebody's going to rent a truck and run over. We're not going to be able to stop all those. We're going to try real hard, but we're not going to be able. And then in their press conference, where they're patting themselves on the back for being how great they are at what they do, which they suck, then they cannot resist the urge to take a shot at guns. Show me a member of the NRA. You go along the list of these mass shootings. Show me an NRA member that did the shooting. Show me. That's not what we're finding. The people that are supposed to hate guns don't want us to have guns. They go and get these guns. And then what do? They shoot up the joint. Kill a bunch of people. This guy rents a truck. My good friend and colleague, Andrea Shea King, she's in the think tank with me and Lala and Jerry and some other folks. And she does great work. Great work. And she does a lot of work with George Webb and some others who are, they're breaking some stuff. And I'm telling you, you follow her on Facebook. You can follow me at facebook.com/smgreener. I have 2 pages there. My 3 pages really. My regular page, then the Ninja Pastor page, and then Collision of Faith and Politics radio show page. At the Ninja Pastor on Twitter. I'm also the Ninja Pastor on Instagram. And I'm on LinkedIn and all that other stuff. So the thing now is they say no, we can't stop this. They're telling you they can't stop it. They're admitting it to you. They're saying we can't stop it. Can't stop this. Boom, ba-da-dum, yeah, can't stop this. No, that's what they're saying. They're saying they cannot stop it. There's nothing they can do. Why even try? Why even try? Right? That's what they're saying. They're saying we can't stop it, so why even try? Honestly, I think that's insane. And what's even worse than that, not only is it insane, but it plays into the hands of the terrorist. You guys have heard me rail against the stupid mess with the bears and the flowers and the memorials that they do, and then little vigils and all that stuff. That's dumb. I'm telling you, I understand why you want to do it. I do. I get it, folks. I get why you want to do that. I'm just telling you, as your friend, as somebody who's studied Islam for multiple decades, up close and in person, I'm telling you, and I mean this sincerely, I'm telling you, they watch television, and the more of that they see, the more they say, we got them. We got them. Terror visual. And then there's this massive response by the police, and, people are like, well, somebody's got to do something about it. Somebody's got to do something about it. There's people getting microphones shoved in their face. They're all around there, and they're like, I don't know, I was just down there, and all of a sudden, I heard what sounded like a truck, right? On the, on where the bikes are supposed to go, and you're looking around, you're going, why is a bike on, this is a bike path. Everybody knows this is a bike. There's a sign right there with a picture of a bike, and all of a sudden there's a truck here. And at first, for the longest, you're like, I don't know why this truck is on here. What's this? This guy can't read signs, this guy. And then all of a sudden, I see him I seen him coming. This way he loves it. I seen him coming toward us, right? And I see all these people getting hit on these bikes and everything. And I'm like, oh, God, that's terrible, man. This guy. I wonder what's going on over in New York City. You know what I'm saying? You know? And this is what happens. And they get interviewed. They shove these microphones in these people's face. And you watch the response. You watch the video of these people. Thank you for the compliment on my accent. I appreciate it. Hey, yo. You watch these people, and what are they doing? They're whipping out their flipping phones to video. Not to call 911, to video. Guy's over there trying to help keep blood from pumping out of this woman. And he's yelling at these people, somebody call 911. They're standing there trying to figure out, what should I do this video in? Landscape or portrait? You have the two black things if you do on the side, but it's easier to hold, and I might be holding this thing for a while, and I don't know. Come on. One person dial 911 just to call them up. Somebody take charge. But they're too busy wanting to be internet heroes, right? So Governor Cuomo, governor of New York, total flippin' idiot, and so's his brother, the TV guy. Nothing's going to change here in New York. Where we love New York. It's something special about New York. We all love it. People come from all over the world. Some love it so much they move here. And we don't want anything to change here in New York City. We want to, we're a diverse place, and we want it to be diverse all the time. Diverse. It's what we want in New York. And we're not going to let them win. We're not going to let them win. When we change our lives, or anything we do in our daily steps that we take and where we go and what we do, they win. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to change anything. It's just flipping stupid. And listen, people in New York City, people anywhere, you got a mayor or a governor like that or any sort of leader, you need to impeach him. He's a fool. His primary job is to keep you alive, keep you safe. Somebody tell me what the number one industry in New York City is. Somebody tell me. No, it's not Broadway. Anybody? Tourism. I thought it was Broadway. Researching the show today, I said, going to be Broadway. No, it's not Broadway. Not Broadway at all. It's tourism. Actually, as a state, this will blow your mind. Agriculture. Most states, you're right, Kim, you win. Most states, it's agriculture. Hard to believe. We treat farmers like crap. We got to have more housing developments, but God forbid we don't need that farm. So de Blasio stands up there, and he just right away. There's no reason to think at all about our friends, the Muslims, that this has anything to do with Muslims, because it doesn't. There's nothing to indicate that it does, so we're not gonna. Good job, Lloyd. Awesome. Tourism. That's cheating. The man's from New York. Jeez. We got a shill in here. We got a ringer. So, but he's from upstate New York, so they're smarter up there. Anyway, here's the thing. This is the thing that's really aggravating. See how I pivoted there? Talking about agriculture, aggravating. You get that? It's good, right? I know. I'm on top of my game. My brain's not working, but it just naturally flows out of me. I can't stop it. So what's aggravating is you've got tourism is a big thing. People come to this country and they want to be they want to be safe, for Pete's sake. This is America. We want them to be safe, and we don't want to be embarrassed. You say you're embarrassed for? I'm not embarrassed of our president. I'm not. I have to. I mentioned Andrea Shea King and my other great friend Elizabeth. Letchworth, Christ, they're very, very close friends, and now I'm very close friends and colleagues with them. And the thing is they both told me, listen, there's more to Donald Trump than you think. When he was a candidate, one of 16, one by one, he knocked them down. You say, well, I don't like how he did it. You know what it was? He was fighting for America. He was fighting for the chance to fight for America. You got to get in it to win it. No, I don't like everything he says. I don't care. I'm going to be honest. Oh, well, what, the guy going to kill kittens? He's going to shoot people on Fifth Avenue. Nobody's going to... No, he was making a point. The thing is, they say he's so stupid, but he talks at a level anybody can understand unless you refuse to understand. Well, he's so bad for women. Really? Then why does the guy have more women paid at a higher rate, not only in his global enterprises? He's got more women CEOs of his global enterprises paid better than men. And there's parity in pay in his companies. He makes sure of it. He promotes women. He has women all around him that every single one that's interviewed says, my God, this is the best job I've ever had in my life. This guy's amazing. And oh, by the way, I'm making serious bank. Yeah, I know I'm a woman. Has he ever groped you? You can tell us if he's groped you. No, never. I've never been treated in any way other than completely respectfully. This is what they say. How about the White House? How about his administration? More women. More women. And there's complete parity in pay. There wasn't that way with Clinton, and it wasn't that way with Obama. I'm just saying. So let's tell the truth. Let's use real facts here. Okay, you don't like the guy, but he's New York. He's Manhattan, Queens, Long Island, Brooklyn. He's all 5 boroughs, and so he's building giant buildings all over the world. He's an unbelievable licensing and registration guy. He makes more money off of his name than anybody else on the planet, literally. Just smart businessman. But he knows how to deal with people that are bad people. Crooked unions. I'm not saying every union is crooked. I'm saying the unions that he's had to deal with, many of them have been crooked. By the way, not for nothing, but there's a lot of murders that occur in New York City unions. I didn't want to mention Jimmy Hoffa, still not found his body. Good job on the hide there. His own union, most likely, is who killed him. The point I'm trying to make here is the guy has to deal with very difficult people. Very difficult circumstances. And he still generates a product which is extraordinary. I'm just going to say this real quick about Trump University. I've never been tempted to take any classes from Trump University. I never have. However, I can tell you this. You guys know I'm an acolyte of Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, all those people. You know how many times those people have been sued by people who didn't become successful? They didn't become, I didn't have a lot of money. I'm not rich now. I'm not like you. So I'm suing you. You know how? It's countless. Zig Ziglar, been sued countless times. God rest his soul. Jim Rohn, one of the greatest of all time. One of my idols. God rest his soul. Sued countless times. Tony Robbins, sued and sued and sued. Constantly with the suing. So that kind of industry, there's going to be suing. Anyway, we go back to this. He gets it done. He gets in the face of the enemy and he kicks him in the teeth. And I like it. So sorry that you don't like it. Your feelings are hurt. I flippin' like it. I do. I do. And I think a lot of people will lose their minds just for the simple reason that they're pretending to be offended. Rosie O'Donnell's foul mouth doesn't bother you? Harvey Weinstein, all these people running around trying to hide from the fact that everybody knew Harvey Weinstein was raping women and men? Anthony Weiner, everybody knew. Bill Clinton, everybody knew. The left finds a way to vilify the victim every single time. Every single flipping time they do it. What was Hillary Clinton's main objective? To vilify, demean, and discredit the actual victims of her husband. Somehow or another. It's okay. So Tay, man. We gotta quit worrying about that. So he makes a statement, hidden camera. that's leaked. Billy Bush does his deal, and he talks about the thing where he grabs a woman. He said, I could grab a woman's private parts, they won't say anything. You lose your flipping mind. It's pretend, folks. People are pretending to be appalled. They're pretending to be appalled. They're not actually appalled. They're pretending. It's a big fat lie. It is literally a big fat lie. No kidding. And it's all of a sudden they got super deep morals. Oh man, we got super deep morals. What blows my mind here, folks, this is what blows my mind. It's the biggest, they're perpetrating the biggest fraud on the world. Biggest fraud in the world. I mean, it's just terrible. And it drives me insane. Because people fall for it and fall for it and fall for it. All the time they fall for it. I don't get it. How do you fall for this all the time? They're fake. They're lying. They're lying. It's what they do. Well, you say that's quite a generalization. That's quite a generalization. Why are you generalizing? Well, I'm generalizing because it's, in general, true. Look, hate it all you want. Hate me all you want. It's fine with me. That's fine. Be mad all you want to be. I don't care. They are tricking you, and you're falling for it every single time. Happens once, shame on you. Happens again and again and again and again and again. Shame on me. I fall for it over and over. Shame on me. You know what? You catch somebody lying to you one time, you confront them on it. You say, hey, don't lie. Don't betray me. They do it over and over and over, and you keep going back. Guess what? Shame on me. Shame on me. First, it's shame on you, but then it's shame on me. You say, I see a pattern here. Well, the left has patterns here. And they'll defend. If somebody says, well, no, we don't defend. We don't. We don't defend that at all. It's, in any case, it's terrible. Really? All of a sudden, Hillary Clinton's upset about it? Come on. Ooh, it's hot up in here. Whew. Good Lord. I need to turn the air conditioner on. I'm flipping mad. Look, so I'm using Harvey Weinstein as an example, Bill Clinton and all these others as an example. And now all of a sudden they want to throw rocks at it. And I'm not a fan of the Bushes. Do I like them better than I liked Hussein Obama? Oh yeah. Because he's white? No. He wasn't as bad for this country as Obama was. He wasn't as much of a liar. He wasn't as unappreciative and he wasn't as much of an ingrate. In fact, I think he's very grateful. Saying that his 93-year-old father, who is obviously has Alzheimer's, he's had multiple strokes, he's in a wheelchair, he can barely move. They have the unmitigated gall to accuse this man, 1 foot in the grave, can't barely move, has to have help for everything, of patting some woman on her behind. Oh, that's sexual harassment. Shut up. You need to have your face smacked, whoever said that. Oh, that's terrible. He's advocating violence. Yeah. You know what? You keep touching the stove, and the stove is hot. Sometime mama got to put a hand to your fanny. That's how it works, man. That's real life. That's how you learn. Look, I'm going to just tell you this. De Blasio actually, yes, I'm changing gears and topics. Not really a change of topic. It's all related. De Blasio, you know, he's an avowed communist, right? He couldn't run on the Communist Party. He had to run on the Democrat Party. But he's a communist, and he's proud of it. No, I'm not making that up. It's absolutely true. No, it's absolutely true. He's on numerous video and audio bragging about being a communist. He hates the police. He's always hated the police. Always. He's all about lining his own pockets, talking about socialism, All for one and one for all. You know? Shared suffering, shared profit. Come on. Guy's a liar. He's a fake. But de Blasio says we cannot be deterred. No, de Blasio, you should be very deterred. Listen, they say we don't want to change anything. We don't want to change how we do. Something seriously has to change, folks. Something serious. Look, if I was New York City right now, I'd be so mad. I'd be furious. I'd be so flipping fired up right now, as if I'm not, right? But if I'm in New York City and I'm trying to find my way around, you know, and I'm worried about cars driving, look, and I got this guy saying nothing, we don't change anything. Every time this happens, we learn. You know who also said you're always going to have terrorism? The Muslim London mayor. Yeah, they elected a Muslim as the mayor. Whatever. I don't live in London. That's why I won't go back to London. Because they're idiots. People are running. Not everybody in London or England is an idiot. I'm saying that the people that cast their vote for this guy are quite fools. You know. I don't know why I'm voting for him. I don't want to be, I don't know, racist. I don't want to be a bigot. I don't, you know, I want everybody to have a chance, you know. Run for whatever. You know, we'll give them a chance, right? It can't be that bad. Of course. Absolutely. I'm going to show how evolved I am, and I'm going to vote for the Muslim. There. What do you think of that? It's idiotic stupidity, and it all stems from political correctness. And political correctness is killing us. It's killing everybody in the world. Who does it appeal to? Political correctness does not appeal to fair people. It doesn't appeal to fair-minded people. It appeals to people who want to label. They want to label for every dadgum thing. Now, West Texas Willie, he has something to say about it. Now, folks, I'm going to tell you something right here. Okay, now I'm not going to mess around with y'all. You come down here to West Texas and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with you. You ain't going to mess with our families and you ain't going to mess with our way of life. And don't throw you no litter neither. By God, we'll shoot at somebody. Leave the dead body as an example. We love our place down here, God-given, West Texas. By the way, I like President Trump. Sure enough do. Well, he's for my guns, and I like guns. You know why? Because I live on a ranch in West Texas. You know what we got down here? Rattlesnakes. Tell you what we got down here, got wolves. You ever run around a wolf? Wolf will kill you. They run in packs, you know. You know what? I got to interrupt West Texas Willie. Look, I got something to say about lone wolf. Let's stop saying lone wolf. It's a lone wolf attack. That makes us feel better, right? People think that somehow or another, if you say, well, it was a lone wolf attack, it's not part of any terror network. It's all part of a terror network. There are no lone wolves. Come on, folks, smarten up. West Texas Willie is smarter than that. We need to be. It's downright ridiculous. Lone wolf. In Islam, there are no lone wolves. There are no lone wolves. That's teamwork. It's just straight up teamwork, folks. They all work together. And look. These people, I'm gonna give the rest of, I gotta hurry up and get through this. I'm gonna give the speech that I gave the other night at American Legion Post 17 for Riley Sunshine, and speaking about cannabis and veterans and all of that, and telling my story. They wanted me to tell my story. I told my story, and I tried to record it for y'all live, and it got all jacked up. Didn't get all jacked up. I should tell the truth here. I put the phone, I don't normally do remotes without my computer. I can actually do a broadcast with my phone, believe it or not. It's absolutely amazing. With Spreaker, I can do a broadcast right from my phone. Unreal. And I put it in my pocket, and your phone is live the whole time. The face of your phone never locks when you're on the Spreaker app and you're doing a live broadcast remotely. I put it in my pocket, I move around, I hit the stop at about 15 minutes, and I felt bad. So I wanted to I wanted to share that. See, here's my thing. This lone wolf business, it's for the weak. It's for the weak. You do not want to be a person who needs to be told that there is how many people in order for you to, how many was it? Was it a lot of people? Because I'm really going to be afraid if it was a lot of people. Now, meanwhile, 65,000 people under the same visa that this guy's in here, the same visa, 65,000 people came in 1 year. And it's a lottery. It's a flipping lottery. Are we out of our minds to allow these politicians to appeal to? I don't know who they're appealing to. Why does the left want so many people in this country that hate this country? Well, that's just not the America I know and love. They love to say that. That's just not who we are. I'm tired of hearing that too. How would you know who we are? How much time have you spent with the American combat soldier? How much time have you spent with Gold Star families? How much time? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me how much time they've spent with them. You tell me how much time you spent with the American farmer in the fields. You tell me how many coal mines you've been down in, running down coal, and meanwhile these people are starving. They don't believe it at all. They're just saying stuff. Why is it that they try so hard to protect people that want... Why are they inviting these people? Well, that's who we are in America. No, we're not dumb. We didn't get founded by dumb people. We got founded by brilliant men and women. They forged a great country and we're throwing it away. Because we allow these idiots... Mayor Marion Barry, getting a statue in Washington, D.C. I kid you not. I feces you not. Smoke crack on video multiple times while in office. Patronize prostitutes on film while in office. I mean, it goes way further than that. I mean, that's just a little bit of it. Mayor of Washington, D.C. That's reality, my friends. That's reality. Now they're going to put a statue. But we can't have statues of Robert E. Lee. Can't have a statue in a church, in George Washington's church. We can't have a statue or a plaque of him, because that's terrible. Listen, we're fools. There ought to be 1,000 people standing out there saying, no, you're not going to take any plaque down. You're not going to take a statue down. You know why these leftists go there and they throw paint on these 200-some-year-old statues that stood the test of time up until now? Look, folks, I hate to break this news to you. Even this racism outrage is feigned. It's fake. Even the Black Lives Matter run around talking about white cops are indiscriminately killing young black men because we're out to kill them. That's fake. They know it's not true. But the more they yell it, the louder they yell it, guess what? The more you back up. It's what they do. I'm sorry to break it to you if that is terrible, terrible news. I am sorry to break it to you if you've lived your life thinking that, wow, we have to do something. Here's what people love to say. We need to have a conversation in America. We need a dialogue in America. It is something we need to talk about, and we need to get real about it. That exacerbates the problem. You play into their hands. Because I'm telling you, it's nowhere near. Are there people in this country that have done racist things, say racist things? You better believe it. On both sides. On both sides. Listen, folks, there's people on both sides. There are good people out there. I don't advocate white supremacy, but I don't think there's any problem at all with somebody being proud of their race. Why is it only black people can be proud of your race? Why am I a racist? Because I say, well, I'm glad to be white. People say, my good buddy, God rest his soul, he's in heaven now. Eric said, I'm the blackest white guy he's ever known, and he's the whitest black guy I've ever known. He said, you're more black than me. I said it last week, and I'll say it again this time. This claim of racism is for fools. There are some people, and they are the outliers. So the thing that what they love to say, and they said it in New York, they must have said it 100 times, and the TV idiots kept saying it too, and it drives me insane. Lone wolf is the one thing. Don't, de Blasio and Cuomo, we're afraid of the backlash against all the vast majority of good Muslims. We don't want to see any of that. That'll be prosecuted aggressively. This is the other thing that drives me crazy. While we're at it, while we're eliminating lone wolf and all these other stupid things that people say, let's stop saying homegrown terrorist. Well, you know what? It's not about Islam because you know what? He was a homegrown terrorist. I'm so sick of hearing that. He was here because of leftist policies that invited in people who have no business being here. And wow, we don't know if he was influenced by Islam. We don't know if he was radicalized in the mosque. We don't know. We don't know. He lived within spitting distance. He literally lived almost on the same property as his mosque in New Jersey. Yeah. He could throw a rock, he could toss, underhand, a rock from his window and hit his mosque. Known to be radical. But you know why we don't want to shut him down? We're so concerned about the religious freedom of Muslims, but we don't give a rat's behind about Christianity and Judaism being protected. You had a leftist Houston mayor, I think it was a mayor or governor, a leftist saying that I'm going to submit legislation for pastors to have to submit before their sermons are preached for hate speech. And people didn't lose their minds over it. Nobody lost their minds over it. When I complain about it, or when other radio or television personalities complain about it, all of a sudden we're freaking out. We're hate speakers. I'm not a hate speaker. Everything I've said today is absolutely 100% true. Steve from Ohio wants to know, can he throw rocks at the mosque? Oh, my goodness. If you're even alleged to have scraped a piece of bacon, raw piece of bacon on there, oh my goodness. You're the worst person ever. My gosh, you're a hater and terrible. Just a bigot. Put you in jail forever. Meanwhile, when they say they're going to cut the heads off of Christians and Jews and drive the Jews into the ocean, that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. My friends, we've got to stop. You got to stop being backed up by bully words. And November 4th, they're talking about. They are talking about this big action they're going to do on November 4th. This big action. They're going to do this. Folks, seriously. Don't blow it off. Do not blow that off. They have been escalating and escalating and escalating their violence. They are obtaining guns and training on guns. I'm telling you, do not blow it off. And I'm going to tell you something else. When they block the roadways and they throw rocks at you and kill you, you see, well, they're just throwing rocks. How about that father that was killed by those kids, those teenagers? Killed. He's gone. He's dead. They threw a rock and it killed him. That's no small thing. You know, Ohio, you're exactly right. Carry everywhere. Carry every single place you go. You don't have your license to carry, but you think you'd be a mentally healthy person, a physically prepared person? Get with it. Go get you some training. The reason why they do these things, I started saying this, the reason why they do these things is because they can. They rip these statues down. They deface precious things because they can. Because they don't know anybody's going to resist them. Go stand around with gape faces and go, well, that's terrible. I'm just going to tell you that we abhor racism. We abhor racism in any form. Racism is not cool. Racism is not cool. You understand your anger? Yeah, absolutely. I understand your anger for sure. I mean, I'm with you. I'm angry too. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I'm just so embarrassed. I'm so ashamed of my people. I'm not positive I'm actually white. I'm just saying. It's, you know, I wish I was another color, any other color, really. So we stand around and you know, we honk our horns at these people. They're blocking the roadway. They block ambulances, folks. They don't care that your aunt or your mother or your father or your child is dying in the back of that car, in the back of that ambulance. They don't care. Stop being a wuss and stand up. They do it because they're not... Let me just say the one thing about the NFL, and I'm going to move on. The NFL, these people now are all butthurt over... My son tells me I shouldn't say that, but it's a term, and I think it fits. They're all butthurt over... Now the owner of the Houston Texans, 80-some-year-old guy, signs their check every week, says, no, look, we keep letting this go on. We're putting the inmates in charge of the asylum. He was making a broader point that if you isolate that one statement, it sounds like it's worse than it is, but it's not. And you know what? He's the owner of a freaking business, and he's paying out millions of dollars a year. And he's losing money. And it's a business. But it doesn't stop at the owner of the business. It doesn't stop at all that. What about the vendors who put do you understand how these vending contracts work? Do you understand how these parking attendance contracts work? These people, to get a contract at a football stadium to sell hot dogs and hamburgers and chips and beers or whatever, is a very difficult process. It's very expensive and it's very difficult. They lay it all on the line, and guess what? If it doesn't work out, guess who loses? They do. They don't get their money back. So you say that there's 50% fewer people in the stands, which there should be 100% fewer people. I'm going to be honest with you. There shouldn't be anybody going to a football game right now. Honest to God. I love watching football too. You know, I would far rather watch college. Go Bucks. Unbelievable. How about these baseball? Man, Game 7, right? This baseball has been unreal. And you know what? Every single one of them takes their hat off and it put it over. You say, well, they're being made to do it. But they do it. Not going to many of those people are foreign. They're from other countries. They still do it. Dang it, I'm mad. Let's stop saying homegrown terrorist. You know who else was a homegrown terrorist? You know who else? Muhammad Atta. 10 years. 10 years he's here. Oh, I'm going to add this. I got to add something. Let's stop calling these people gentlemen. The gentleman allegedly rented a Home Depot truck and and he drove the truck allegedly over human beings, and sadly and tragically, many of them have died, and many of them are seriously hurt. But the gentleman who is alleged to, he's not a gentleman. He's a piece of crap. Let me tell you why these things are happening. Because there was a time in our country when that guy gets out of the vehicle, waving around. You know why he had the... Let me answer this for you. He waved around the guns because he was hoping to get shot and killed by a police officer. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get shot and killed. Why? Because if he gets killed in the act of jihad, he goes to a higher level. Muhammad says, the Quran says. Don't tell me what the Quran says. I've read it 4 times. In the 3 most recognized and approved translations, I've read it. Have you? I know what it says. Do you? It's exactly what the deal is. Umdad al-Salik, the Reliance of the Traveler. 1,345 pages, several hundred years old, written by Muslims for Muslims. I've read it. Have you? Muhammad Atta. His next door neighbor said, oh my gosh, he's such a nice guy, cannot be him. They show him the film. Is this Muhammad Atta, the one you know? Oh my gosh, yes. I can't believe that. He was over our house having beers the other night. We were grilling out, joking about, no, we didn't grill any pork. This is what they're saying. Homegrown terrorist. He was radicalized. Oh my gosh, how did he get radicalized? Was it the internet? Even people on the right are saying, we've got to do something about this radicalization on the internet. You know what? The internet is free. It should always be free. It should be uncensored. I don't give a rip. But I'm going to tell you this. Let the people police themselves. Self-government. Self-governance. Center for Self-Governance. I'm telling you, one of my favorite things ever. centerforselfgovernance.com or .org. I'm not sure which. You want to learn how it really works? That's where you want to go. My friends, let me just lay this on the line for you. They do these things because they don't believe anything will happen to them. Why? Because we've shown them nothing will happen to you. And so they keep doing it. What if? You say, oh, you're encouraging vigilantism by saying what you're about to say. What if there was a time where this guy drives down the street mowing people over, and there's concealed carry permit holders yanking out their firearms, which they have comfort and skill in arms, they have practiced, and they have prepared their mind, their body, their soul and spirit to respond if need to be. No, they're not super eager to pop a cap in somebody, but if the needs happens, you don't shoot to kill, you shoot to stop. You're stopping the attack. And guess what else happens? If you do it right, they die. Not a sad story. I'm sorry to tell you, it's not a sad story. Guy lives his whole life trying to prepare himself to kill the infidel, as many as possible. And guess what happens? He's going to do it. You're not going to stop him from doing it. But you know what? What if the people around there aren't janking for their cell phone or their smartphone to get the video they're going to have splashed all over the internet and all over the local news and have their name in the lower right corner, video courtesy of. They're drawing their legally purchased, owned firearm. They've obtained comfort and skill at arms. They've prepared their mind, their body, their soul, and their spirit to react if need be. They draw their weapon and they drain his brain. They ventilate his cranium. And they do it over and over and over. I'll tell you something. They're not going to do it over and over and over. They're going to do it 1, 2, maybe 3 times. Because they're not quitters. The terrorists are not quitters. They'll do it 1. They're not afraid of dying. If they're not afraid of dying and that helps them, help them out. Help a brother. Help a brother. Help a brother. He wants to die, help him out. Oblige him. He wants to kill your he wants to kill your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, your spouse. Come on. Suck it up, buttercup. Stop talking smack and start standing up for what's right. Don't be a wuss. We got enough wusses. We don't need more. I'm telling you here and now, we don't need more wusses in this world. We've got enough. Homegrown terrorist. Why? Because he lived here legally? Muhammad Atta. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Listen, Obama and Chuck Schumer's, somebody's saying today on the news, Shepard Smith was saying, but signed by President Bush. It was signed by President Bush. Chuck Schumer's diversity visa grants permanent residency. And the President Donald Trump is absolutely right. It should be completely, unapologetically, unceremoniously, and immediately revoked. In the words of the left, how many more have to die before we do something about terrorists? If we can even save one life. What, are we going to outlaw rental trucks? Is that what we're doing now? We're going to outlaw rental trucks? It was an assault van. Ohio says, I hope the attacker lives and when he goes to prison finds out the 72 waiting for him aren't virgins. Amen, brother. Let them take it out on him. I'm sick to death of all the weakness and the whining. I am. Seriously. I'm sick to death of it. There's no call for it. At some point or another, we got to step up and stand up and say, you know what? I'm not standing for this anymore. You say that's vigilantism. You want to know what stops it? There are 35,000 police officers in the city of New York, and they are great in all 5 boroughs. They are great police officers. They're some of the best trained in the world. They are. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's only 35,000 of them. They're not all working at one time, and there are millions of people in New York. Listen, we've let in more people in a year to this country through this program than there are police officers at all in the city of New York. That's reality. Now, hashtag ban terrorist. After the New York attack, Trump calls for ending diversity visa lottery program. David Jackson in USA Today wrote about, I don't know how many hours ago, President Trump said Wednesday he would renew efforts to kill a particular immigration program in the wake of the terrorist attack in New York City. The terrorists came into our country through what is called the diversity visa lottery program. We know that for sure. A Chuck Schumer beauty. I want merit-based, Trump tweeted, referring to the Senate Democratic leader who hails from New York. The terrorists came into our country through what is called the diversity visa lottery program. A Chuck Schumer beauty. I want merit-based. Now, you hate President Trump's tweeting? You think that's not very presidential? Guess what he just did? He told you what caused it without you having to watch 48 to 72 hours of BS television. That's what he did. That's what he did. Because people aren't going to come around to that. By the time you find that out, it's well after the attack. It's well after it. Do you need to know about it? That how he got here? You dang sure you had better know about it. You know what? Kim is absolutely right. Kim in chat said, what other country would ever do this? None. Yeah, Europe. Europe is doing it. How's that working for them? How is that working for Europe? It's not. People are dying. Instead of killing 8, they kill 80. And then they do it again and again and again. Schumer responded by accusing President Trump of politicizing the attack and added that the White House is also seeking to cut the federal counterterrorism budget, which is BS. I have always believed and continue to believe that immigration is good for America, Schumer said. Tell me why. First of all, that's great to say. Tell me why. Because I'll tell you who we got before. We got Italians and Irish and British and India, from India and other places, that they came here and they said, I want to work and I want to help my family and I want to be a part of America. And Polish people. I love the Polish people. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love the Polish people. The Polish people I have been blessed to know in my lifetime have been some of the most amazing human beings on the. They are hardworking. They don't quit. Jews from all over the world, from Russia, Germany, France, Czech Republic. Amazing people. Amazing people. Those are who we want. They come here, they learn the language, they start businesses, they teach their children to love America. These people that are coming, they don't love America. They want our money. Immigration jihad. I've talked about it for countless hours on this radio show from this very microphone. Immigration jihad. Immigration jihad. Now, before you get all turned upside down over this, it's a term that I've said from the beginning. They use our softness against us. Schumer says, President Trump, instead of politicizing dividing America, which he always seems to do at times of national tragedy, should be focusing on the real solution, anti-terrorism funding, which he proposed cutting in his most recent budget. BS. He didn't raise it by as much as some people thought he would, but it's still an increase. It's not a cut if he doesn't raise it as much, folks. Trump, who called for extreme vetting after the truck attack that left at least 8 people dead, said in a follow-up tweet, "We are fighting hard for a merit-based immigration. No more Democrat lottery systems. We must get much tougher and smarter." The suspect, Saifullo Saipov, came into the United States from Uzbekistan, and media reports suggest he may have arrived through the diversity visa program. Listen, this guy saying that they know it. These reporters know that that's how he came in. Representative Adam Schiff, Democrat from California, really and truly one of my least favorite people on the planet, top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, criticized Trump's response Wednesday on MSNBC's Morning Joe. Really, that's a shock. There are legitimate reasons to look at how we should take immigration, new immigrants on the basis of diversity, how much on the basis of merit, Schiff said, but I never really heard this made as a security argument. To use this tragedy in that way to push an agenda is not what the president ought to be doing right now. Really? Because when they come out and they say, it's all if it involves a gun, even if it didn't involve a gun, it's they'll use this thing. They'll use this thing, this tragedy. Don't let any tragedy go to waste. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't let any tragedy go to waste. Right? They do it all the time. Tell me when. You know why they want you to shut up about it after it happens? You know why? Let me tell you why. Because they know people will grow tired of it. The 24-hour news cycle, in about 31 hours, people are sick of it already. Oy. Listen. If you have good intent for this country, then you do. Kim in chat said her granddad came over legally from Italy in 6th grade education, and he learned to speak the English language, and he worked his rear end off in the coal mines. Do you think anybody says, you know what I really want to do? I want to work in the coal mines. That's my favorite thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let me tell you something, folks. If they really, 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 really want to help this country, and they want to come in here, and they can help this country, great. You know what? You go to Mexico, you have to show you have a means of generating income for yourself. You have to have a place to stay. You have to come with a certain amount of money. They come to America, we give them money, $42,000 a year. You know what I don't get as a 100% disabled veteran? $42,000 a year. You know what I don't get? I don't get squat. They get health insurance. You know what I don't get? Health insurance. That's reality. I'm not whining. It's not reality. That's reality. And I'm sick of it. And I don't know about you. I'm sick of it. At some point or another, somebody's got to step up and say, no. You know what? That fella runs into one one vehicle. He ran into, of course, he slams into the bus, right? You guys know that. He hit a bus full of children, right? But the first thing he hits, you start peppering that driver's side. Somebody draws and puts hard focus on the front sight and press. And starts ventilating whoever's driving that deadly vehicle. You say, what if it's a person that's sick? What if it's a person that's having a seizure? I have seizures. You know what? If I'm doing something like that and I'm a good person, but I'm having some sort of seizure and I'm running over people, somebody ventilate my cranium. Somebody separate my brainstem from the rest of my body. Separate my will and ability to conduct whatever it is, whether I'm intentional or not. It doesn't matter if I'm intentional. You've got to stop it. You don't shoot to kill, you shoot to stop whatever the bad act is. My friends, at some point or another, we've got to stop all of this flipping whining. Well, then it's the Wild West. It's going to be the Wild West out there. And then people are running around shooting everything. And what about the poor people? My son has just called me. He says, I'm butthurt that you misquoted me. You shouldn't say it. You shouldn't be butthurt. Be a man, you shankopotamus. That's what he calls me, shankopotamus. I love that. Friends, listen. At some point or another, man, we've got to stop being weak. It's been made in vogue to be weak. That's reality. When we all collectively start stepping out and saying, no. And now, we don't roll like that up in here. You want to come over here and you want to start trouble? Guess what? We got something for you. Oh, yeah. We play you well. We'll play you well, folks. We'll get in it to win it. Okay? You want to roll like this? Guess what? Here we go. Oh, here we go. Well, it's gonna be bullet holes in buildings and people are gonna die. That may happen, folks. That may happen because a good person has to care about what's behind their target. They have to care, will the thing go through the human body? When if I shoot and I do hit him, will my round go through and hurt him? You know why? We're a very litigious society. Sue on everything. Sue. At some point, we have absolutely got to stop with the weakness and the whining. We've got to stop it. It's got to stop. We've got to show the world that we mean business. Yes, we're loving. Yes, we're welcoming. But you know what? If you don't have goodwill for our country and for our way of life, can't come. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Thank you. Bye-bye. No. You just go ahead and turn around. You're not coming on the plane or the bus or the boat. No. You just go. No, thank you. Thank you for coming. No. Thank you. Turn around. You're going back there. You make your country better. Go ahead now. God bless you. I'll pray for you. Make your country better. Don't come here and wreck our country. I'll tell you what I can't stand. Let me tell you what I can't stand. All the illegal immigrants waving around the flag of their countries, not just Mexico, it's many other countries, waving around their flag, talking about, do it my way. That's like you leave a church because of this or that, and you go to another church because you're mad, and you get in that church and you go up to the pastor. First chance you get to talk to the pastor, you're like, oh, I did enjoy your sermon for the most part, I did, but, well, I wonder if you'd prayerfully consider prayerfully consider, the last church I was at, this is what we did. And I thought, it's a really great idea. It's a great idea, and I love it. And so I thought I would share that with you prayerfully. And I had to make a face at those people. Why aren't you back at your other church? Why are you here stirring up trouble? If it was so great in your other country, why are you here messing around with our country? Leave us be. Go back there and make your country great. MYCG, make your country great. MAGA, make America great again. Go do your thing. Let me tell you, this was brought up to me today, and I thought it was a great point. Why in the world are these 29-year-old people here? Hell, he's going to go do jihad, right? And he's got 2 children and a wife back at the house. But how many of them leave their spouses and everything back over where they came from? Oh, yeah, they're really caring. Come on. It's just stupid. It's just absolutely stupid, folks. And it makes me mad. I'm fired up now. Fired up now. My dog's even mad. She's all fired up too. All right, so the other part of this show, I'm going to buzzsaw through this. I don't think I'm going to do a full 2 hours, but maybe I will. Who knows? The other night I gave a speech. You guys know, you know that people protest me and I get a lot of death threats and all that stuff, and that's okay. That's okay. But ultimately, people will get fired up and they'll say stuff and do stuff and they'll threaten to do an action and all this stuff. Well, let me just tell you this. Let me see. I got his card in my pocket. I want to read it to you. I want to give credit to the right people. Chief of Police of the Lewis Police Department, Thomas R. Spell III. Unbelievable job. Unbelievable job. Now that's some serious leadership. That didn't faze him at all when these leftists were talking about they were going to do an action and interrupt and disturb and, whatever else stupid stuff that they say. Because of my stance on Islam and other stuff. But they said I was a racist. That cracks me up, first of all. Because Islam is not a race, by the way, and it's not a religion. It's a religious, political, and military ideology. It's a fraud. It's a fake, and it's been perpetrated for hundreds and hundreds of years. Anyway, so I'm there. I get asked to go there and give a speech. And basically the premise was this. How would I, a Christian conservative, come along the path of cannabis? Why would cannabis ever cross my path? What happened in my life that would cause me to embark upon a journey of 2 years of intense research on cannabis and CBD? So they wanted me to come speak there. Well, these people didn't like that. Not the people involved in the organization, just people that sit around in their mom's basement using her Wi-Fi and not taking a shower, by the way. Anyway, they didn't like that. So they wanted me to tell my story to this American Legion Post 17. Amazing people there. So nice to see so many veterans and people helping veterans and amazing people there. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And amazing to see blasts from the past and friends from many years ago and new friends. I made new friends, and it's just awesome. So here's my story. This is the story I shared. April 12th, 2012 at 6:18 p.m. I was driving home when a 19-year-old in a borrowed car. He was driving a borrowed car, state minimum insurance. He was driving 109 miles per hour when he lost control of the car. And he crossed, when he lost control, he crossed over a huge raised concrete median. I think it was 48 feet later, he struck me head on. He was going, by that time, 92 miles per hour. I was traveling at 51. 51 miles per hour. I decelerated from 51 miles per hour to 0 in just 7 feet. Now, I hit him head on. I stopped in 7 feet. 2 separate EMT firemen, one of whom I've known since he was an hour and a half old, took my vitals, and they both called me dead. I was just about 6'4". I was 257 pounds the day of the accident. I was trapped in 8 inches of space. I bent the steering wheel with my face. I shattered my left side. I blew my fingernails off of both of my middle fingers on both hands. I broke 10 teeth. I moved my jaw from its proper place. I changed the shape of my eyeball. I stretched my optic nerve. I broke my nose, dislocated every major joint in my body. The roof collapsed on my head, crushing my spine, causing lifelong pain, traumatic brain injury, seizures, and many other injuries I don't even have time to go through all of it. But rest assured, the effect of those injuries and the act that 19-year-old did, I'll feel for the rest of my life. Surgery, physical and visual therapy, brain therapy, and the subsequent loss of being able to run my businesses totally changed my life's trajectory. Oh yeah, opiates were prescribed, of course, because that's what doctors do. And look, I don't want to bash doctors. I don't want you to think that I have any animus towards doctors. Some of my best friends are physicians, and I love them, and I know where their hearts are. And opioids in all cases aren't a bad thing. But they were prescribed and they didn't work. I tried them and they didn't work. Opioids would not make me better. They would not take away the intense, constant pain in my body. And all of a sudden, even though I had my blood pressure pretty well controlled before on natural stuff, now it was, 305 over 285 and 295. I kid you not. We have pictures of it. Doctors can't figure out how I survive that. And it still gets like that periodically. These opioids wouldn't remove the fog in my brain. They would create fog. They wouldn't bring back the memories or knowledge removed in 1/100th of a second. Opioids and other drugs did not stop my pain, and it did not stop my seizures. So what did I do? Did I just wait to die? I like to say this to people. C, 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 C. 4 C's. Conservative, Christian, cannabis, consumer. The day I had Jay Maidler on my show, I joke about this, but it's true. When I was over at Block Talk Radio, the day I had Jay Maidler, who's an amazing woman, by the way, just unreal human being, the collision of faith and politics, I had her on that show. I spoke a little bit about my personal experience with medical cannabis. And I started that day with averaging about 1.8 million listeners around the world. And within the first 11 minutes of my interview with Jay Maidler, I lost 288,409 listeners. Kid you not. Kid you not. And I said to Jay, thank you, Jay. What a great guest you are. Wink, wink. Maybe you can come on again and I can go get that vacation I've been wanting to have. Not that I get paid for the show, but that's just how it is. That's reality. That's the reality of my life, folks. It happened. Stigma is why it happened. I asked the audience there, and maybe some of you have the anonymity of radio, but I asked the live audience there: are any of you a little bit uncomfortable here tonight? Were any of you a little nervous coming? Now there were some people that were nervous about coming because they were afraid of violence. That was people were threatening violence, but some were nervous because cannabis. I understand it. It's a stigma. Look, I was too. And to some degree I still am. The ninja pastor, nationally known conservative Christian figure. I knew that a huge part of my audience wouldn't respond favorably to my message of truth about cannabis, but I had to tell the truth because people like Riley Maidler deserved it. People like combat veterans deserve it. You deserve the truth no matter the personal or professional cost to me. And that's why I just decided, you know what? I'm going to come out with it. I'm just going to come out with it. Say what needs to be said. Last week, I was speaking at the Omni National Resort in Tucson, Arizona for the Michael Strange Foundation and delivering the grief counseling portion of the workshop for Gold Star families. God bless them all. I love them all. And I wrote an ebook called Living Through Grief on Purpose, and it's free to all Gold Stars, veterans, active duty military, and anybody listening. Just contact me and I'll send it to you, free of charge. You cannot imagine how many Gold Stars asked me about cannabis. When on the breaks after speaking, they would come to me and say, hey, can I talk to you about this? What do you think about this? They were asking me if it works, how it works, why it works, because nobody really knows. That's reality. Every single time, every break, they would come to me and they would ask me about this. It's amazing to me. It's absolutely how many applications of the benefits of cannabis and CBD there are in this country. But it seems the veteran, the combat veteran, the Gold Star families, they're really in dire need. There were some veterans there from just about all wars when I was given to speak. They asked me to talk. Can I talk is what I was doing. It was Can I talk. It was asking me, they said, come speak about post-traumatic stress, counseling that I do for veterans and combat veterans, and some in theater. Some have called me from Afghanistan because they know I'll help them. And they want to know about my experience using medical cannabis for pain. It's not just for pain. I use a lot of things. They help with seizures and a lot of other things. I mean, it's just such a crazy, amazing thing. But I talk to a lot of these combat veterans all across the country for free, confidential, completely confidentially, and they're making this long journey home from war with all of its horrors. You can't imagine what people in combat see. They face new challenges now that contribute to the suicides of 22 veterans a day. And I decided it was time to not be quiet about my experience any longer. Now, somebody just asked me, and I want to answer this. Post-traumatic stress disorder, mental disorder. Now, I don't say PTSD. You'll notice I say PTS. I'll explain why as soon as I read the standard MSM and DSM-5, definition. PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, is a mental disorder that can develop after a person is exposed to a traumatic event such as sexual assault, warfare, traffic crash, or other threats on a person's life. Symptoms may include disturbing thoughts, feelings, or dreams related to the event, mental or physical distress to trauma-related cues, attempts to avoid trauma-related cues, alterations in how a person thinks and feels, and an increase in the fight-or-flight response. These symptoms last for more than a month after the event. Young children are less likely to show distress, but may instead express their memories through play. A person with PTSD is at a higher risk for suicide and intentional self-harm. Now, I don't say the D part. I say post-traumatic stress because I don't believe it's a disorder. In my experience, I have had people come to me, and again, free and confidential, and I just want to share this with you, just being real with you. I've had people come to me with a gun in their hand. I've had people call me and say, I'm sitting just below the bridge. I've had people call me with, I can hear the rounds being loaded into the gun. That's reality. Serious business, folks. They tried everything, and nothing worked. They tried everything. Listen, I don't know what your stigma is on cannabis. I don't know. I don't know how many judgments you've made on people about cannabis. I don't know. I don't know what your background is. I don't know what you know and what you don't know. I spent 2 full years in doctorate level research of cannabis and CBD. Straight up and for true. 2 full years. And what I found was stunning. But these, and not just men, by the way, women come to me. Some of them very young. And they say, Doc, I heard that you'll help me. I'm sitting here. I've got my firearm. I'm done. I'm done. I don't know what to do with these. So I say PTS because I've seen that same person sitting there at the bottom of a bridge, about to drive up on the bridge, climb on top of the car, climb over the fence, and jump. No delay. I've talked to them with blades in their hands. They may have made one cut already. I can hear the pills in the bottle that they've accumulated, and they figure if I take these 100 pills, if I can swallow these, I'll die. And I can stop this pain. I don't call it a disorder because it will not stay. Properly treated, it will not stay. Now, let me say this with all due respect to our veterans, and I absolutely mean this. And I say this to our Gold Stars as well. Not everybody goes into the military whole. Not every parent, their child, might not be whole, and they might not be whole. Your marriage may not be good. Your interpersonal relationships may not be good. You may not even have a good relationship with your child. But suddenly that child dies in battle. And you would to God that you could have all that time back. I have a saying I say all the time, and I said it to the audience. Something sacred hangs in the balance of every moment. And Avraham Heschel said that, and it stuck with me. Stuck with me for the rest of my life. I thought that when I was in my car. Crushed from above, in 8 inches of space front to back, mangled, and in horrible pain. And I had no concept that I had died. The 2 firemen, they took my vitals, both said he's gone. They called it in. It was reported as a double fatal. Me and someone in the other vehicle, who I happen to know. I said that very same saying. And you know what? I say that to every single combat veteran or current combat case. Listen, this is not hopeless. But as it relates to cannabis and CBD, the help that cannabis and CBD have been to me is unreal when I use it. It's expensive. It's very, very expensive. Friends, I'm just telling you, it's made a massive difference in my life. Do I sit around and be high all day? No. I couldn't function if I did. But we're not talking about some adulterated, non-organic thing. I don't walk around rolling joints. I don't have a 3-foot long bong, and I just sit around and laugh at people and eat Doritos. That's not how it works. It's not reality. We're talking about very, very, very precise dosing. Very, very precise mixtures and formulary. Combinations of pure CBD, powerful CBD, and THC. The proper amount for the proper thing. I have a great friend, dear friend, Joe Konchnik. He's a great scientist. And Jay Madler, absolutely brilliant. And they've introduced me to PhDs. People have PhDs in this. That are just some of the greatest minds. And when you see what happens, I have watched a young child who has 400 seizures a day, within 20 minutes of being dosed with just a few drops of CBD and THC, no longer have seizures. I've seen people with Parkinson's disease, terrible pain. I never knew until I started knowing people with Parkinson's closely. I never knew that there's pain associated with it, but sure enough there is. And now that I have seizures, it's extremely painful. It's brutal. It's brutal. It's super painful, and it's disturbing. And the more you have, the more damage is done. I have seen people with full-blown Parkinson's properly dosed, and the seizures, tremors, stop. I've seen them go from locked up, they can't even move, they can't even talk. Terrified look on their face, 20 minutes later. They're talking to me like normal. No side effects. You might tear into a bag of Doritos, but no side effects. No one's ever died from an organic, true marijuana or cannabis overdose or CBD. Never happened. Never happened. Friends, look, I understand if you've got biases. I understand if somewhere along the way you developed an idea or a belief about cannabis that you said this is real. I understand. Look, I understand if you watch television shows and they maligned it. I understand if you listen to people, if you're a conservative Christian, malign it. I get it. There's so much disinformation around there. I totally get it. But I'm telling you, I've seen people with terrible pain, much like me. I've seen them go from people who just want to die. The pain, the physical pain, the emotional pain, all of it. And I've seen you look at them after, especially once they find that proper dosing, the proper regularity, the proper formulary. Once that happens, and because you don't just sit there and blaze up, there's a lot more to it than that. A lot more to it than that. It's a lot deeper. And if I have to, I'll pound this truth in you every time I'm behind this microphone. Listen, it's not what people say. When I'm talking to veterans, they're hopeless. They're hopeless. They said, "Man, I've taken all the drugs. Now I'm addicted to the opiates." People say, "Well, that marijuana is a gateway drug. It's a gateway drug." That's the stupidest thing, and it's not supported by fact. Organic cannabis. Organic, non-solvent derived CBD. It will not drive you to any other drug. In fact, it's being used aggressively in Israel to help people with drug addiction. And the results are tremendous. Stress, anxiety, depression. A myriad of health, serious health problems, chronic pain, digestive issues, Crohn's disease, migraine headaches, so much more. That's reality. My friends, that's reality. And the list is so long. I look at benzodiazepines, I look at opiates, and I look at the terrible, even if they're taken exactly as prescribed. One of the biggest side effects, even though you're taking exactly as prescribed, is suicide. It's helping people get off of alcohol. It's helping people get off of drugs. It's helping people find their way to wellness. It's helped me dramatically. But it's super expensive, and I can't get it as much as I need it, even though I have the medical marijuana card. It doesn't buy it. I have to buy it. I don't have health insurance, and health insurance doesn't cover it anyway. And the Veterans Administration doesn't want to know anything about it. So nobody's paying for it, so it's only when I can afford to buy it, and that's rarely. But when I do, and I use it properly, I use it, and it changes my life. Listen, who knows? After giving this speech tonight, I may lose even more listeners. And you know what? That's okay. Because if 2 or 3 or 4 or 1 person listens to this and says, I can't tell you how many times I've spoken on this and or talked to people interpersonally, privately, and they've at the end and said, thank you so much. I was so nervous about talking to you about this, but I don't know why I was so nervous about it. It seems, why isn't this more widely available? And this speech is not about that. We can talk about that sometime. It's a dirty, terrible story. But it's real. It's real. It's just like with how else we live our life, all the other issues we struggle with. Man, folks, we've got to step up and stand up. We've got to decide. Hashtag decide, resolve, and stand. In Israel, they are healing cancer. Kid you not. I know. You've been told never ever say that unless you're talking about apple cider vinegar. People, if it's as great as people say, I take it and whatever. You know, I do the lemon juice, the cayenne pepper, the apple cider vinegar, and something else goes in there. I can't remember what. I'm not kidding you, folks. They're curing cancer. It makes no sense to hush up about it. None whatsoever. No sense at all. I thank you for listening. I thank you for giving me your ear and listening respectfully and intently. And I thank you for at least having an open mind to not click the off button. Switch to something else. May not be for you. I can tell you what, it's for me. And it's for countless other people that I have the privilege of coming into contact with. The more we ask for information, the more we'll get it. The more demand for information on dosing and you know, there's so many variables with it. You know, studies of it. People have to get special permits to study it. It's stupid. It's stupid. The more we demand it, the more we'll get it. That's a dose of reality from the Ninja Pastor. Thank you for listening to me today. God bless you. I appreciate you all so much. If you want to support what we do, because it's not free, feel free to go to theninjapastor.com and go over to donate. Whatever you can give is awesome with me. If you can't give anything, I don't want you to give what you don't have and you don't want to give. But it means the world to me. You listening means the world to me. Tell you what, if you don't have money, even if you do, go to Facebook and leave a comment about the show. Just on the regular Facebook. Just put it on there. @TheNinjaPastor is my Twitter. Just you can't believe how much that helps. No, I don't get money for it, but what I get is more listeners, and that's more people I can help. God bless you all. God bless you all. You mean the world to me. Thank you so much.
Dr. Greener returns next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in the meantime, he'll be working to restore your freedom and your liberty. He will engage in the collision of faith and politics for you and with you. In the meantime, remember to follow him on Twitter at the Ninja Pastor and follow him on Facebook. Dr. Greener's controversial book, Excellence Killed the Church, How Mediocrity is Destroying America, is available on Amazon and at other fine booksellers. Or you can get a copy directly through his website, www.drshawngreener.com, where you can also listen to interviews and speeches and messages free of charge. Show archives are available on iTunes through drshawngreener.com.